Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. We got check marks all the way. We are live all the way. Sweet. It's happy Wednesday, everybody. It is so good to be live with you. So hop in, come on, join. Today is a live that I'm quite excited about, and it's something that I think we all need a reminder of. And the way I posed it is, do you know how to play? And the reason I've done this is because, as adults, we kind of have lost that ability to play a little bit. That's where the beauty of children come in, because children can kind of remind us that part of us that we kind of pushed away. And we live such serious lives and we do such serious things, but ultimately, that childlike enthusiasm for life doesn't need to be lost. And if it is lost, we can totally rediscover it. Just updating the camera angle a little bit. We can rediscover it. And so I just wanted to encourage you guys to start playing again and start thinking about it. There's a reason why a lot of us, when we do seek help, through therapists and stuff like that, that we do work with our inner child, because, the child is that most innocent, pure version of ourselves. That child hasn't had the influences of the world, and all kids really want to do is just enjoy and explore life. And through the years, we've kind of lost that, through the responsibilities that we have and these lives that we lead. And I think it's really important for us to start learning how to play again. And I am a very playful person, and also do have to remind myself to play. So one of the games that I like to play with everyone, and so if you're a friend or client or me, the highlights game is one of my favorite games to play, because I think it's one that really just translates to everyone. And so if you are looking for ways to make life more fun or start integrating some ways to play through the day, let's play a game. And let's start right now. We're going to play this game, and then we can talk a little bit more about playing games and making life fun afterwards. So one of my favorite games is called the highlights game. So how does it work? So there's two ways. So I'm going to ask you a question. The question is, before now, and it's 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, where I am. And so maybe you've only had half a day, which is still beautiful, because whatever. So you'll see. Before now, what is a highlight from your day? Not the ultimate highlight. It doesn't have to be the biggest thing in the world, but what was a highlight? What was something that made you smile before now? And think about that. And if you're having trouble thinking about something that made you smile or a highlight from your day before now, and if you have one, please drop it into the comments. I'd love to hear about it. If you have one, then, or if you're having trouble finding what a highlight of your day was before now, then you can also ask yourself a contra question. What was something that really brought you down until now? Because sometimes when we have that low, it can help us find a high. And this is a really fun game to play. I'll give you an example. Last night, I played the highlights game with myself. And I'm in a place where I'm not really in a big city right now, and I was able to see the stars, and I saw the Little Dipper. And that was a highlight for me last night. And we can have multiple highlights a day. But one of the things that I really love about the highlights game is that, so often we think we need to have these huge highlights and these huge successes and all these other things. But a highlight really can be having a great shower, cuddling, enjoying your coffee in the morning. They don't always have to be these grand things. So highlights can be really small things. And I like to find little games to make my day fun. You can even make chores a game, or you can make getting through your workday a game, where if something happens, then you get a point, or just different ways to make life fun. Because if you can rediscover that part of you that has fun and is playing through life and not taking things so seriously, then things also flow a lot better. Because if you've ever noticed, if you're so dead serious about something, or you're not in a position where everything has to be a certain way, and you don't have that childlike ease to things. Now I know some kids were quite serious when they were younger, my sister included. But kids still have a certain ease to them. And when things have to be a certain way, and when they're so whatever, then you're less flexible, you know, instead of being like a flag in the wind flowing with how it goes, you're a board standing there that can break or whatever. That's maybe not the best analogy, but that's the analogy that comes to my mind right now. So if you're looking for ways to really beef up your make life more fun, I mean, maybe even start exploring like what you would have liked to do when you were a kid, the things that brought you joy, the games that you enjoyed playing, and start really trying to discover ways to make life fun. Because guys, if we're not enjoying life, then what is the point? This is a beautiful gift that we've given to be on this planet. We have our own set of superpowers, which are constantly also evolving based on how we practice our powers and how we learn and how we grow. And we're also discovering new things about ourselves. But this life is meant to be fun. And, if we get caught up in the too seriousness of it and everything like that, and yeah, we do have lows. It's going to happen to everyone, and life does land us punches that also put life in perspective. But if we're not enjoying our day to day, then that is an indicator that things can be updated, that we can start finding ways to enjoy our days, finding ways to bring joy into our lives, because really this life is meant to be fun. At least that's what I believe. And our beliefs determine how our lives are, and so they determine everything. So my belief structure is that everything happens for me and that life is supposed to be fun. And because of that, I find ways to make life fun, even in the boring things. I find ways to make games for everything. And if you need some suggestions, you can reach out to me. But I really just wanted to get the highlights game out there for you guys. So if you're having a day where you're feeling frustrated, or you really just want a great way to engage people that you don't know, or just in general, play the highlights game. Ask the people what made them smile that day before this moment, because the easy highlight is always that highlight when you're hanging out with people, or you're in a position where you're already in a place where you're having fun. And that's why with the highlights game, you have to say something that brought a smile to your face, or that was a highlight before that very moment. The logic behind that is that that's an easy highlight to say, right? But asking yourself what before this moment was a highlight, it could have been a particularly mundane day. But when you start searching for those little highlights, then you start seeing them again, and it's a game, because then you can find these things the next day and the next day and the next day. So start trying to find ways to make life fun. And if you don't know how, start with the highlights game. It's one of my favorites. We can also play the worthiness game. That one is in my videos. You can go ahead and check that one out. That's a good one. That is if you need to get that self-confidence and see how worthy you are of what you deserve. So go ahead and check those out. Re-listen to this if you need to find out what the highlights game is. And thank you so much for everyone who joined. I'm wishing you the most magical, abundant week. You guys rock. Keep doing what you're doing, and sending you lots of love and light. Bye, guys.